The African American History Month lecture series brought in several special guests and some controversy. We have an update on last week's events.
Later, students, faculty, and staff took a stand on an important issue facing our country. We'll tell you more coming up.
And if you're looking for a new best friend, a local animal shelter has an option that you may have not considered.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Rachel Blevins.
And I'm Devon Burgess. Late last week, Texas Tech hosted a special guest lecture that made some waves in the local community and online. And Rachel, I understand you had a chance to attend the event.
That's right, Devon. On Friday, I stopped by the museum of Texas Tech's Helen Devitt Jones Auditorium to find out what all of last week's controversy was about. This year's African American History Month lecture series came with some controversy. Angela Davis, a political activist, retired professor, formerly on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list, and two-time vice presidential candidate for the Communist Party USA. This year, she was chosen to wrap up the African American History Month lecture series at Texas Tech, and that choice raised an uproar around both Texas Tech and in the Lubbock community. Petitions were started last week by the Tech College Republicans saying that maybe Angela wasn't the best choice for the lecture series and that at the price tag of $12,000 that was too much money to pay her. That petition was met with a counter petition by the Tech student Democrats who argued that Angela should be allowed to speak anyway. Despite the presence of the petitions, many students appeared unaffected by the controversy.
I feel like it was a bit blown out of proportion. There was no reason for it should be like a petition to get her not to come. Her past is her past, and what she has here today, obviously Tech finds it important if they're paying her.
Nicholas Duran, a senior marketing major, attended the lecture to see what all of the controversy was about.
I wanted to hear about the controversial Angela Davis. She has written several books, 9 exactly, about prison reform and about black culture and how black Americans are treated in America and our rights and just where we're moving forward.
Now, even though Angela Davis's visit was met with controversy, the place was packed. Not only was it packed, but the overflow section was so crowded that people were sitting on the floor and standing by the wall. For MCTV, I'm Rachel Blevins.
Angela Davis wasn't the only big name in town last week. The African American History Month lecture series also brought in Tavis Smiley to speak at Tech.
As great as they were, these are just ordinary black people who did extraordinary things.
Smiley is a best-selling author and award-winning broadcaster. Smiley's lectures, Death of a King, detailed the final year of Dr. Martin Luther King's life before his assassination in 1968. Members of both the Tech and Lubbock community attended the event.
I've always been interested in Tavis Smiley and the work he's doing. And I want to just hear what he had to say about Dr. King. I've been a follower of Dr. King ever since I was very young, and I like his issues and everything. And it's just interesting to hear what he had to say about things that I didn't know about.
Smiley's lecture concluded the 2015 lecture series, but a few more activities are planned between now and the end of February. You can visit events.ttu.edu for a full listing of happenings around campus.
1 in 3 women in the world will be beaten or raped during their lifetime. That's a startling fact that affects millions of people every year.
And it's that statistic that has caused one campus group to stand up and make a difference. MCTV's Laura Duclos joins us now to tell us more.
Thanks, Rachel and Devon. Tech's Women's Studies Department hosted an event last week that gave students, faculty, and staff a chance to bring attention to a subject that isn't often discussed. Last Friday, the 1 Billion Rising Revolution took place on the Texas Tech campus. Students gathered in Memorial Circle to stand up against domestic violence and help defeat the statistic that 1 in 3 women will be abused or raped in their lifetime.
The idea is that we're bringing awareness here on our campus that what happens globally also affects us locally and vice versa. The students that came together today have been active on this campus in various ways. This was another way that they could show that their activity that they're doing in the classroom can be translated into a real lived experience in activism.
1 Billion Rising is a global campaign that was created to raise awareness to stop violence against women and girls. It's a fairly new campaign to the Tech campus, being only 3 years old. The event included poetry reading, singing, and dancing, all done with hopes to bring attention to the cause. Students, faculty, and staff attended the event for various reasons.
This affects me on a personal level because I have actually, I've experienced gender violence myself, and I know a lot of women who's experienced gender violence, and it's something that we are kind of afraid to talk about because we feel ashamed, and I feel like society has a way of making it feel like it's our fault.
Although the majority of the attendees were women, several male students also took part, hoping to challenge the common perceptions of domestic violence.
It's important for men to acknowledge that, yeah, we are the problem for a lot of this stuff, and acknowledging how the privileges and entitlements that we as men have in society, how that kind of puts blinders on us, and we either don't want to see or are unwilling to see or don't want to see or refuse to see the problems around us. And I think that events such as this give an opportunity for men to kind of explore this area.
The 1 Billion Rising campaign has taken place in over 200 countries and is growing every year. Despite the nature of this touchy subject, Brianne says that it's important to talk about.
It's important because these are the issues that we are typically uncomfortable with talking about, and it's very touchy and controversial. But if we start talking about things like this that are controversial, then maybe things will bring awareness to them and things will get fixed.
1 Billion Rising is only one of the many activities that the Women's Studies program helps organize each year. You can find a full list of events by visiting the program's website listed on your screen. Devon, back to you.
Thanks, Laura. In other news, the first tenant for the new Research and Technology Park was announced last week. Chromatin, an ag biotech company in Chicago, will move its research and development team from Illinois to Lubbock. The move will create 12 new jobs in the Lubbock community and help bring more visibility to the new Research and Technology Park. The $29 million facility hopes to attract both major and startup corporations looking to collaborate with the university. The building is expected to be completed this summer.
This past Saturday, the Vernacular Music Center held a Jazz Age Mardi Gras party at Host and Toast here in Lubbock. The event is used as a fundraiser for their future concerts, guest series, and outreach scholar program. They raffled off a king's cake shipped directly from a bakery in New Orleans. There was music as well as dancing. The people in attendance had a chance to try out different types of New Orleans style food as well as wine and beer. The VMC partners with other businesses in the community to promote the participation of music and dance in Lubbock. Also on Saturday, some students decided to get up early for a swim, a very cold swim. The rec center opened up the leisure pool for the annual polar bear swim. The event took place at 11 a.m., giving students a chance to get an icy start to the day.
Today the polar bear swim is something that we like to do annually. So we'll have the water pretty cold. Today we had it at 61. Past years is a little bit colder, but what we do, we have people a chance to get in, do a little quick trek around the river, get out at a certain time, kind of hang out here at the hot tub, just so we can everyone get a feel of the leisure pool, because here pretty soon we're going to start coming outside.
About 50 people showed up for the swim, but only 25 got in the water. Other than this event, the leisure pool is currently closed. However, the facility will open back up for regular operation in May. Hopefully by then, the water will be a little warmer.
And if you're looking for something to do this week, the Tech Activity Board has you covered. Tomorrow night at 7, TAB will be hosting a silent disco in the Sub Food Court Pavilion. Attendees will be given a pair of headphones that are connected to a DJ that will be spinning until 10 p.m. The catch is only people with the headphones will hear the music. Then on Friday, TAB is offering another of their Make Your Own events, and this time you can make your own street sign. The event starts at 11 a.m. in the Sub Courtyard, and all materials will be provided. As always, both events are free with a student ID.
Hey Devon, did you have a chance to see the snow yesterday morning?
I did, but not for long. The South Plains saw a dusting of snow early Tuesday morning after a strong cold front blew through from the north. Original predictions showed we could have up to an inch of snow that night, but as you can see, that was a little too optimistic. Regardless of the snowfall, we still had a low temperature in the 20s, making for a cold night.
Speaking of temperatures, it is certainly a bit warmer today than it was yesterday, but will it continue?
Weather specialist Carly Smith joins us with the first look at our forecast. Carly?
Thanks, Devin. You know, actually, it has warmed up quite a bit today. High temperatures right now are sitting in the upper 50s, and they'll climb into the lower 60s for our high. But oddly enough, we did actually see another cold front push through today. That one was very weak, and so temperatures didn't drop much, but they weren't allowed to climb very much, keeping our highs in the 50s and 60s throughout the area. And so that cold front did shift winds to north for just a bit, but not too long. So what's coming up next? Well, that would be a warming trend. Temperatures from the south, or weather from the south, will push into our area as our winds shift back from the south, and that will rise our temperatures into the 70s. We'll have great sunny skies, and it will be nice and dry and clear out there these next couple of days. But as far as lows go tonight, they will drop into the 30s. Lubbock right at that freezing mark, 32 degrees for the low. Skies will be mostly clear, and so you can see some stars outside maybe tonight if it's not too cold for you. Winds will be west, 5 to 10 miles per hour, so not too bad for Lubbock nights, 5 to 10 miles per hour winds. Now tomorrow, temperatures will climb into the 70s, 73. It'll be sunny and warm, but those winds will pick up from the south, which is part of what's going to help our temperatures warm up. They will be slightly strong, 15 to 25 miles per hour. So besides the wind, it looks like tomorrow is going to be a great day. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Carly. Here on campus, we've been seeing a lot of new construction. That construction often includes tearing down old structures to make place for the new ones.
But one building that hasn't been torn down is also one of the oldest and most unique on campus. Reporting Caitlin Kravick has a look at a piece of history that you may walk by every day.
Nestled between the Texas Tech Library and the English and Philosophy Building, you'll find one of the 4 original buildings on Texas Tech's campus, the Dairy Barn. The barn was originally used for the dairy program, which allowed students to bring up to 3 cows to Texas Tech with them. The students could keep the cows in the dairy barn and use the profits from selling milk products to pay for their tuition. The work the students did in the barn paid for the cows' keep. Amy Meyer, University Archivist at the Southwest Collection Library, says the hands-on experience was crucial to the students' success.
It's taught students how to care for their animals, how to manage a farm. We had far more than just dairy cattle. There were horses, there were sheep, there were pigs, and all of it centered around the dairy barn, and these students learned by doing.
Jerome Beach, an alumnus of Texas Tech, worked in the barn with 8 other male students for 2 years before he graduated in 1957.
Worked 3 different shifts of milking and feeding the cow. Everybody had a shift, and then we cooked our own meals. Everybody had a job to do, either cooking or washing dishes or cleaning up, and it worked real well.
Beach says it was a pretty good job to have on campus.
We worked 3 hours each day, made $1.80, and we contribute $1 a day for our food. Of course, we had our milk, and then we got eggs up from the poultry division at the school. We ended up doing real well with just contributing $1 a day.
Meyer says alumni who worked in the barn tend to have a strong emotional connection to it.
Some of our older students are alumni who have come in, who worked there. They just look at the dairy barn and you can see all the memories flash across their faces. It's wonderful.
The Dairy Barn is only one piece of Texas Tech's long history on the South Plains. That history is archived in a special collections library found here on the Tech campus. The Southwest Collection is located just to the north of the main library on 15th Street. The collection not only houses the university archives, but it is also home to the archive of the Vietnam conflict and the library's rare book collection. The facility also has several in-house exhibits with historical artifacts, including a display case dedicated to Preston Smith, a former governor and Tech alumnus. The Southwest Collection is open Monday through Friday throughout the year. Every year, thousands of people adopt a pet and give them a new home. But one breed of dog is often overlooked. Reporter Stacy Wormel has a look at a shelter that is helping to change perceptions.
And Texas Tech baseball kicked off their season with the home run of the weekend. Alyssa Herzog will be in with the latest scores and highlights in MCTV Sports. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break.
This is you. You want to be a director in Hollywood? Maybe you want to capture someone's attention on a 30-second spot. Maybe you'd rather be a social media manager, or you want to sit behind the World News Desk. You can do that here. at the College of Media and Communication at Texas Tech University with a degree in advertising, electronic media, journalism, media strategies, or public relations. From here, it's possible.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Every year, millions of animals end up at shelters throughout the country, and one particular breed of dog accounts for almost 20% of the total number of canines available for adoption.
Reporter Stacy Wormel joins us with a look at a local shelter that is helping to bring down that percentage. Stacy?
Thanks, Rachel. To the north of the Lubbock city limits, you'll find Saving Grace Pitbull Rescue, a unique shelter that has plenty of loving dogs looking for a home. Saving Grace Pitbull Rescue began when a group of friends decided they wanted to help one of the most misunderstood breed of dogs. Board member Lacey Holcomb says pit bulls get a bad rep due to misconceptions people may have.
So they need the most help. They're the most misunderstood. A lot of people think they're just aggressive naturally. They're not. They may be with other dogs. They don't normally like other dogs, but they love people. A lot of people are scared of the breed. It's hard to find the right match because if someone does like a pit bull, that breed, they usually already have one. And so a lot of our dogs need a home where there's not already another dog. And a lot of people aren't willing to make that adjustment where you have to keep them separated.
Emily Mize has been a volunteer at the shelter for over a year now and says after her first time at the shelter, all the misconceptions she had went away.
Heard like a lot of negative things, but they're all really sweet. I've never had a problem. Like, they all seem like really great dogs, and they're all happy and friendly. They're not mean. So, I mean, I think they're great.
Saving Grace has a strict adoption policy, and Lacey Holcomb says anyone looking to adopt should know how much work and time a pit bull really is.
We do adoptions at PetSmart, and if someone walks in and is just like, I want that dog, that doesn't make us feel good, really. A dog shouldn't be an impulse purchase, you know. You should think about it, be ready for it. It's a huge commitment. It's time consuming. You have to change your whole lifestyle to a dog, really. A pit bull, powerful, and is not just an average dog that you can just leave at home for hours on end. They need interaction, they want human attention. So it's a big responsibility, and we don't want people to do it on a whim.
Saving Grace Pitbull Rescue has adoptions each weekend at the PetSmart located in Lubbock. Along with general adoptions, Saving Grace also hosts several activities a year to help people better understand the pit bull breed. You can find more about these activities as well as how to adopt one of these great pets by visiting Saving Grace's website at savinggracepitbullrescue.org. Rachel, back to you.
Thanks, Stacy. If adopting an animal isn't an option for you right now, there may be another way to help out the community. The Lubbock Dream Center is currently collecting used and new prom dresses and accessories as a part of their Prom Queen event. The event is designed to bring girls together who are trying to find their dream prom dress but cannot afford to get it at a department store price. Staff members at the Dream Center say the event is helping more girls each year.
In the past, we started off with about 100 girls, and it's just growing each year. And, they get very excited. My favorite part of the Prom Queen is the tears. You actually get to feel, just their excitement and just the joy that they have. And, some of them, you do have a lot that come up and hug you. And, they don't get to, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for them.
The Dream Center says they are trying to collect 1,200 dresses. The original deadline date was this past Saturday, February 14th, but they will continue to take donations through March 1st. The Dream Center is located at 1111 30th Street, and you can find more information by visiting their website at lubbockdreamcenter.org.
There's a variety of events going on around campus over the next couple of days, and all of them could help you become a little more cultured. Starting tonight, you can catch a foreign film for free in room 169 of the Human Sciences building. The film Un Cuento Chino, or Chinese Takeaway, will be shown at 5 p.m. as part of the Spanish Film Club series. Then tomorrow night at 5, the film Waleo will also be screened in room 169. The films are part of a 5-movie event being made possible by the Tech International Film Series.
Also tomorrow, you have a chance to attend a poetry reading by a nationally renowned poet. Rowan Ricardo Phillips, a poet, literary art critic, and translator, will be at the English Building for a reading of some of his works. That event takes place at 7:30 p.m. Phillips will also make an appearance in the Sub-Traditions meeting room for a Q&A forum Friday at 10 a.m. A small reception and book signing will follow the Q&A. Both events are free and open to the public.
And on Friday, the Tech community will continue its celebration of African American History Month with a performance of the Clothesline Muse at the Allen Theater at 7 p.m. The Clothesline Muse is a traveling event that uses music, dance, text, and visual art to celebrate the role played by African American washerwomen in history and society. The performance also features Nina Freeland, a Grammy-nominated jazz vocalist. Tickets are $18 for the general public, but students with the Tech ID can get in free.
The men's and women's basketball teams continued to their roller coaster seasons this past week. Alyssa Herzog will have the latest scores in sports.
But first, sunny skies and warmer temperatures greeted the South Plains today, but how long will that last? Weather specialist Carly Smith will have the latest look at the forecast next.
That's low and below. Look, he's blushing. Seriously. Okay.
There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
It was quite a beautiful day out here on the South Plains today, as the skies, as you can see, were quite sunny, and they allowed temperatures to climb into the 50s and 60s across the area. Now, the winds actually weren't even blowing very much today, which is weird for Lubbock. It's usually quite windy, so we did have a weak cold front blow through, and that did shift our winds to blow from the north just briefly. As you can see, they're all shifting around right around noon earlier today. Now, later tonight, those winds will shift to blow from the east, but they won't stay there for long, as tomorrow our winds will once again shift and they will begin to blow from the southwest, as you can see. And so that southwest winds will be gusty around 18 knots, which is roughly 20 miles per hour. The winds could blow anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour today, tomorrow, even gusting more possibly, and they will be strong from the southwest, which will allow our temperatures to warm, which will be nice. And so as we take a look at lows across the area tonight, temperatures will drop to 32 degrees for Lubbock, and for the most part, everyone will be in the 30s. With it a little bit warmer to our south, they might not drop below that freezing point. And so highs tomorrow, once again, with those winds from the southwest strong, will climb into the 70s. It might not feel that warm with that strong gusting wind, but 73 for Lubbock, and then we have mostly everyone right there in the lower 70s. And so as we take a look at what's happening later this week, well, temperatures won't stay warm for long. And Sunday, we could see, once again, another cold front, and this time it could produce some moisture. Now, this moisture, depending on just how low our temperature drops, could be freezing or kind of wintry mix, especially at night if it happens then. And so it looks most likely off the Caprock. You will see rain right now. Lubbock not looking to see much from this system on Sunday. Friona, you may see a little bit up to the north, but that is coming up on Sunday. So as we take a look at the next 3 days, you'll see Thursday, once again, beautiful day, 73 degrees, just a little windy. Winds will calm down Friday, and temperatures will continue to warm, 75 degrees, part of that warming trend. And then Saturday, still warm, 65 degrees. So a little cooler, but not too bad. 65 will still be a nice day, 47 for the low, and the winds will begin to shift to blow from the north on Saturday, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now, the following 3 days, well, they look a lot cooler. So we do have Sunday, 34 degrees for the high. That's lower than the lows earlier those 3 days. The low will drop into the 20s with that cold northeast wind 15 miles per hour. Then Monday, we do also, I forgot to mention, have that slight chance, 15% for some precipitation. Could be wintering, could be rain. Monday, once again, especially the morning, that rain could stick around, could be a little icy depending on just when it happens. 35 degrees for the high now. That low will be very cold, 13 degrees on Monday, with the winds will begin to blow from the southeast, which will thankfully allow temperatures to begin to rise into the 50s on Tuesday. So we have once again another kind of roller coaster temperature happening where it's going to be nice and warm and then drop again. So it's definitely starting to become a little spring here on the South Plains, which is why our temperature is rising and dropping, but it's not my favorite time of the year, definitely. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Carly. Tech baseball is already making some news nationally after an eventful weekend at Dan Law Field.
Alyssa is in next with a look at the latest rankings in sports.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to energy-saving bulbs. Saving energy saves you money.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Alyssa Herzog, and here are your sports recaps and highlights over the last week. The Lady Raider basketball team came back again with some positive results this week. On Wednesday, the team hosted Iowa State at the United Supermarkets Arena and brought home the win with a final score of 71-58. 4 of the Lady Raiders scored double-digit points this game to help Tech score its most points in the first half so far this season, that number being 44 points. Then the team continued with their success as they traveled to Kansas to take on the K-State Wildcats. The girls were down by 2 points with less than 20 seconds left, and senior guard Amber Battle drained a jumper to send the game into overtime. The girls came home with another win of a final score of 74-68. The Lady Raider basketball team will compete again tonight against Baylor at the USA at 7 o'clock in hopes of more success. The men's basketball team, still in the middle of a losing streak on the other hand. They traveled to Austin to play UT last Saturday, but sadly lost 41-56. Then the team hosted Baylor at the USA, but still fell short of a victory at home with a final score of 49-54. The Red Raider basketball team will host Oklahoma this Saturday at 11 a.m. in hopes of turning around their bad luck. Both the men and women's tennis teams played several matches over the weekend, beating Memphis, East Tennessee, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and Utah all 4-0. Way to go, tennis teams. The softball team traveled to San Marcos over the weekend for a tournament, beating UTSA on Friday with a score of 9-5. Saturday, they played Grand Canyon and lost 7-4, but came back with another win over UTSA on Sunday, 7-2. And finally, the sport that everyone seems to be talking about lately, Texas Tech baseball. This weekend was opening weekend starting on Friday the 13th with the first game of the season versus San Francisco. Texas Tech came home with a victory for opening game with a final score of 9-7, and Rip Griffin Park experienced a school attendance record of 4,375 fans. Then on Saturday, Texas Tech clinched its first series of the season with a doubleheader sweep of 15-6 and 13-5 over San Francisco. Sadly, yesterday afternoon, the baseball team hosted Nevada but fell short of a victory with the final score of 4-8. This was Tech's first loss of the season against the undefeated Nevada team. The Red Raider baseball team will begin a new series this weekend against NIU at Dan Law Field at Rip Griffin Park, starting this Friday at 2 o'clock. And that's all for sports. Back to you, Rachel and Devin.
Thanks, Alyssa.
We'll be right back.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
Welcome back. Well, Devin, do you have any big plans for the weekend?
We'd probably be cheering on the Texas Tech basketball team against Oklahoma. What about you?
Sounds good. I'm just working this weekend. Well, that's all for this week's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check out ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.